My name is Richard Barret, and I am chairman and founder of the Barret Values Center. I've been asked to say a few words at the beginning of your conference and to talk about values and values-based decision making and why it's important. So let me begin by telling you a few of the things that I've learned about values. I've been studying values and writing about values for over 25 years now. And the first thing I need to tell you is that values are a reflection of our needs. Whatever needs we have is what we value. What we need is what we value. It's as simple as that. And as we grow and develop, we pass through 7 stages of our lives. And each stage, there are different needs. So our values actually change as we go through our lives. If you look at the first stage, which really begins about after the third month of gestation in the womb, the reptilian mind brain, the body mind forms, and that mind brain is totally focused on one thing, and that's survival. And it stays dominant until we get to the age of 2, when roughly about that time, the limbic mind brain or emotional mind brain becomes dominant, and the reptilian mind brain becomes the subconscious of the emotional mind. Now, the reptilian mind brain was all about survival. The baby's totally focused on survival, and the young child from age 2 to about 7, while the limbic mind brain is dominant, is totally focused on safety, feeling safe within its social environment. Around the age of 8, the neocortex becomes more dominant and continues growing and developing until we get to the age of about 24. And this is why teenagers do stupid things, because they don't have a fully functioning brain. We don't have fully functioning brains until we reach our mid-20s. That's called the differentiating stage. It's all about security. That the young person needs to feel secure and needs to feel respected and recognized. As we move then into our late 20s and 30s, we move into the individuating stage, where we're looking for freedom and autonomy to be who we really are, to let go of the beliefs of the culture in which we were brought up and find out who we are. Now, many people on the planet never get past that because they develop fear-based beliefs at the survival, safety, and security stages, and they stay stuck at those lower levels of consciousness. So if you can individuate, that's fantastic, but you'll need freedom and autonomy to do that. And then you move to the self-actualizing stage, which usually occurs in the 40s. And this is about finding meaning and purpose in your life. So having had the freedom and autonomy to discover who you are, now you want to get in touch with the deepest aspect of your own soul, find meaning and purpose, and do the work that you're passionate about. And that happens in the 40s. In the 50s, we found our meaning and purpose, the work we love to do. Now we want to make a difference in the world, but the only way we can make a difference is by connecting and connecting with others. And that usually happens in the 50s. And then in the 60s, what generally happens is we move into the 7th stage of development, which is service to humanity. All we want to do at this stage is just give back and leave the world a better place. So these are the 7 stages of psychological development that we all go through. Now, some of these stages are particularly challenging for women, and some are particularly challenging for men. And I'll just name 2. First of all, the self-actualizing stage is very difficult for women because of 3 factors. 1, they are brought up culturally to serve their husbands or to serve other people, and so they put others first. Secondly, they have children and they want to care for their children, so they tend to put their children first. And then they may have in their 40s old parents who need to be looked after, so they put the parents first. So women have this great challenge of not being able to fully express who they are in their 40s because they're caring for other people. Now, this can lead, quite honestly, to a breast cancer, because that is linked to the chakra in the body, which is the throat chakra and the upper part of the chest. Now, for men, it's the next stage which is quite difficult, because you move then to the connecting stage. Now, men are taught during the conforming stage, 2 to 7, to be strong and not to show their feelings, and So they hide themselves, and they're not very good at making relationships because they don't show their feelings. Now, when you get to the connecting stage, if you haven't learned to express who you are and connect with other people, it's very difficult to get through that integrating stage, as I call it. And that generally leads to prostate cancer. There is a whole linkage between the stages of development and the leading causes of death, which I write about in my book, A New Psychology of Human Wellbeing. So those are the two big dangers for us as adults in not being able to reach the serving stage of development and to find fulfillment in our lives, because that's when we find fulfillment. That's when we flourish, as we move through these last three stages of development and master the needs at that stage. So I've been talking about needs, but at the same time, I've really been talking about values, what we value at each age. At the first stage, it's about survival. The baby is focused on survival. It needs its needs, physiological needs, to be met in order to survive. The young child is focused on safety. It needs to feel love and belonging. The teenager needs to feel recognized and respected by parents and by the community in which it operates. The young adult in the 20s and 30s values freedom and autonomy to become who they really are. In the 40s, we value meaning and purpose and finding the work where we can express ourselves. In our 50s, we value connecting with others so that we can make a difference. And in our 60s and 70s, we value serving others so that we can leave the world a better place. So where are you in this development? That's the question. And what is next for you? So when you understand the verticality of the growth of consciousness and the stages of development, it helps you to understand where people are and how they can grow and develop and what their values will be, because our values change as we move through all of these stages of development. Well, I thought that would be a useful start for your conference to set the scene about talking about values and understanding where our values come from. They come from the deepest levels of our being. Usually during the first three stages, it's a lot about our ego development. And in the last three stages, it's about the development of the soul, or the unfolding of the soul. Let me put it that way. So thank you for listening. I hope you have a fantastic conference. And I'm going to be coming to Ukraine and to Kiev actually a few weeks after, on June the 7th. And I've made myself available that evening, and I hope that I'll be able to meet some of you at that time. Sorry I couldn't be here for your conference. Best wishes. Have a great time. Thank you.